All right, Razor, home, another victory, right? Nothing to it, simple. I know you made it to the end. I know you did, right? I know you did because I saw you on social media. We were both there. Holy Christ, this team, you know? I mean,
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I thought last night the hockey gods were going to give back what they took the other couple days. The Bruins getting points in 3-0 down defeats against Washington. I thought they deserved to win last night. Being down 3-1, I thought a better team was going to find a way, like the Bruins had against Washington, and it didn't happen.
no.
David Pastrnak to the rescue again. Power play to the rescue again. These guys are incredible, and we talked about it after last game. They never give up. They never think that they're out of a game. It's something special, and we're fortunate to be able to watch it again last night.
Yeah, and they played great in the first. You know, shots don't tell this story. If somebody's just looking at the score sheet, the game summary, they're like, oh, those were close shots, 7-5 or something in the first period. They were dominant in the first. Dominant. It was just 1-0. That was the problem for them. But I don't know if I've seen better forecheck, especially stick positioning and reloading, always being above the puck, always being on top. Their forecheck was phenomenal in that first period. I mean, you know, the first play to start the game, set play off the face-off, Pasternak's finish, which actually caromed off the defenseman, I think it was Provorov, that was coming back into the front. But it was all because of the win of the face-off in the neutral zone, the guys battling to switch sides, and then Pastrnak gets some sweet sauce from McAvoy. I mean, it was just a little, not a floater, but it was just a nice soft sauce. And by the way, that's a sign of things to come to the tying goal, because Charlie again doesn't go all crazy after the Bruins couldn't get the puck in on the tying goal and just hammer it, right? He didn't go hammer time. He didn't go MC hammer, right? And just dump it in, and he sauces it, or just a soft play to get the puck back into the zone with, 20 seconds left or so. I mean, that's the mental mindset. Yeah. You've been there on that bench. To see guys at that level have that kind of control of the mindset, that's special. Like, that's something that the average Joe, even a good hockey player, a college player like myself, doesn't completely understand that mindset.
No, that's right. That's coaching as well. That's also the culture they've had. That's from watching how Patrice and Krejci carry themselves, Marchand on a daily basis. That composure. We talked about the composure a couple games ago, 5-on-3, they don't panic. We talk about the composure against Washington. They don't panic down 3-0 and just start hammering everything at the net. They're still looking to make plays. And to your point on Charlie last night, same thing at the end. A lot of times you can't get it in the zone. You just want to get it in there. You hammer it around the boards, and then they chip it out, and the game's over. They hold on to it. And that play at the start, again, it's a set play. They get David out wheeling around on that first play of the game I'm talking about now. And that sauce from McAvoy, that was 6 feet in the air and landed right on his tape. Interesting how the Bruins sent out their first line. Philly tries to match with their fourth, tries to bring energy, and Philly coaches get burned with it 12 seconds into the game. Get those guys off the ice. Those guys aren't starting again against the Bruins again the rest of the season until Couturier is back anyway.
They had the Bunneman kid out there. I just like saying the last name.
Yeah.
Cinnabunneman. That was it out there, the Cinnabunneman, and he got toasted.
He
sure did. And it wasn't his fault per se. Actually, you know who got burnt? Was the Ghost, Gossespear. And all of a sudden, Pasta's got the puck on the left side, and he's coming up, and he's got that curl in his stick that he just knows how to bring the puck back in, and Gossespear's like, what the? And he beats it, and then Provorov has no choice but to come back to the far post, right? That's where you want your D-man to come as a goalie, far post. He's putting the brakes on, and he inadvertently, knocks it in because I don't think David intentionally put it off the skate of him. He was trying to drive to the front and bring it across.
Yeah, and that's where Provorov's going there to not allow him get to the center of the ice and cut back because the ghost was a ghost, and David's licking his chops when he gets the puck and he has that guy down the left wing one-on-one, just licking his chops, and it paid off. It was just an impressive play. They were ready to go that first period. The stick pressure that, especially the second line, Krejci and Smith and Ritchie was. They had the puck the whole time, and if they didn't, they got it back within 10 seconds. So the pressure was great. Great first period on the road. They certainly showed up on time.
Okay, so what happens is we move on. You're watching the game, and I'm at least watching it, and I'm cynical, by nature, and I'm sitting there and I'm saying they got to get another one. They got to get another one because if they don't, it doesn't feel good. I don't know if you had the same feeling or not, but I will give Philly credit. I thought they adjusted. I thought that they did a better job putting pucks closer to the Bruins, or putting bodies closer to the Bruins defensemen as the game went on. Some of them had more of a difficult time. First period, it was free flow, man. It was gorgeous. Yeah. Second and part of the third period, I can think of a few plays. Actually, they all involved Zaboral. In fact, there was a turnover by Zaboral behind the net that led to, what was it, the third Flyer goal? Or second Flyer goal. Yeah.
Second one. Second, yeah.
I thought the Flyers did a better job of flying around the ice, of making it happen. And the Bruins, not that they were bad, they just weren't nearly as good. And sometimes you got to give credit to the opponent too.
Yeah. Yeah, Philly made the adjustment. Philly got their ass chewed after that first period. I'm sure of it. They just responded, and yes, they're all NHL players out there, and the reality is Philly got embarrassed in the first, and they felt probably pretty good at the end of it, only down 1-0. Listen, we sucked, we were horrible, but we're only down 1-0. Let's go. This is turn this around. We're not doing this again. So they got to their game. They got on the Bruins a little bit more on their forecheck, created a couple power plays. The goal, was a perfect example. The stick breaks, and then they were swarming. They were all over them. Mm-hmm. Lozano would have loved to see him just ice it, or at least hammer it. He had a chance to clear, doesn't, and then the fire drills on, and Philly gets that goal, and then you can see that's when, at the point where I'm like, this is going to be tough now. This third period is going to be tough for them to get out of this with a win, now getting back to a tie game. And yes, that made it harder on the Bruins defensemen. They couldn't wheel. They couldn't just skate it out of the zone. They had to make 2 or 3 quick passes, which we know is much tougher than just skating it out on your own.
And Zaboral, I'm not picking on him, I'm just going through his numbers. He only played 14 and a half minutes. He was a -2. He struggled, I thought, at times in the game. It's going to happen. Lozano, you would have liked to see him just ice it right there. But the great thing, obviously, is that when these kids may have a hiccup, there's still other really good players around them, obviously. And secondly, is that they don't seem to get rattled by it. They they keep going. And 1446 is still a good amount of ice time for a young defenseman. So Bruce and, Kevin and the guys, they're putting them out there in the right spot. But they don't have to rely on them. They need them to do certain things, but they don't have to rely on them, which is obviously, I keep using that word, I should stop, but that's the good thing, is that they have enough confidence to keep putting them out.
That's right. And that these are coaching nights too. These are great learning experiences for him, and to get wins off of one of a poor play by him in the third period and still get a win is even better. He's up early today. He's at the rink as early as they can be in, COVID protocols. Coaches are going over video with them. And I'm assuming, I don't know this for sure, I'm assuming that these guys, the coaches have given him enough confidence. Listen, you're not going back to the minors. You're not getting sent down if you make a bad play, and play your game. So Zaboral doesn't have to stay up all night wondering if he's going back down to Providence this morning because he made a bad play. He just has to get up and get to work. And that's such a different mindset for younger players. And when coaches and organizations give them the confidence, but also a short leash, you can learn and you can gain so much experience so much quicker. And I feel like that's where Zaboral, that's where these guys are at. right now that they've proven that they can play, and now they're refining. We've talked about they're going to have bad games. Everybody in the league has bad games, and we're going to focus on theirs a little bit more because they're younger, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and because it's a talking point for this team because of who isn't here anymore. So that's the obvious thing.
Correct.
All right, we got to get some time into the Bergeron, Pastrnak, Marchand, just the big boys coming through. Rifling through the sweatshirts quickly, I came across the Czech Challenge Cup. I coached in this a couple times, and I said it's appropriate. I don't know if the game of hockey is enough of a challenge for David Pastrnak anymore. I don't know I don't know if the NHL, is enough of a challenge. But you played with some great players in your time. Is there a look? Is there something that you can just tell when the guy is going? I mean, I think there is. If you were sitting on the bench, you'd just be giggling watching some of the stuff that the kid's doing right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and there's no question. For me, it's him just going at everybody. He is taking everybody on one-on-one. That play in the second period, he didn't end up scoring on, where he toe drags I think it was Sanheim, he toe drags him like 6 feet down in the corner. They're basically in a telephone booth at the time. He finds a way to toe drag and two steps, and he's at the net. He tried to go wide on Hart, and Hart made a really nice play on him. But you can tell his confidence. He's going at everybody, and that's the same thing Connor McDavid does. Same thing Draisaitl does. These guys, every time they're on the ice, and it doesn't work every time. They're playing against NHL defensemen that are really good as well, that don't want to be embarrassed. But there's never a time that if he doesn't put his head down and not look for someone else, he's taking on whoever it is in front of him. He's going to the net and try and stop me. And he's so good and so talented that the guys are missing. It's impressive.
The key to pulling off those moves where you toe drag around a guy, to make it work, it's literally, you're talking not even inches, centimeters of difference. And how he sees stick positioning, leg positioning of the defenseman, how he's going to get him to turn just enough to where then he can put the puck. It's not that practice doesn't make perfect, but that's an instinctive thing as well. They just see guys like that just see the game differently. And, that's something that, we're both youth hockey coaches too, but we're all being hockey guys and analysts. I don't know. You can talk about it, you can show it, but I don't think you can do that stuff unless you feel it. And that's just a natural hockey God-given thing.
It's certainly, that's like you say, it's in your head after all the practice, and he's done it 100 million times, but you can't teach it. If you could teach it, you'd have 20 of them. You just cannot teach what he does and what he sees while the play's going on. And he gets that 3-4 inches that you're talking about with respect of his shot, because he can always rip it. And now people have been embarrassed enough by him, so he gets a little bit more space. Connor McDavid gets a little bit more space on his gap because guys don't want to get blown by wide. Guys don't want to go at Pastrnak and lunge because they've seen him toe drag so many guys. They have to give him a little space to close in his shot. So these guys find space out there. They get a little bit more respect as they get better. So it's almost a snowball effect in the NHL as well. The better you get, the more respect you get, the more distance you get, the more time you have, the better you get on top of that. And I think that's where David's getting in his career, where he's getting into the top 4 or 5 players in the league. Everybody knows it, and you have to be aware of it all of the time.
And he's physical. He's more physical now. That's part of filling out too. And, that's where he can handle certain things now too. He can handle some of the hacking and whacking. He can handle the board play. Now, speaking of board play, and I'm jumping around here, but the play by Marchand on that game-tying goal too, when after Charlie leads him with the puck to get it in, he takes a hit, he pivot. We know how well he protects the play. So if you really want to get into the minutia of that play, it doesn't happen if not for the composed regroup in the neutral zone and Charlie putting it over there. It doesn't happen if Brad doesn't take the hit, this turn, and protect the puck to hold on to the puck. He just doesn't, burp it up and put it into the corner. I thought something the Bruins did really well last night in general was utilizing, we call it the low to high play, forward to D, and then the changing the point of attack, side to side. Well, I thought on that last play was really, emblematic of that. Marchand gets it in, moves it back to the point. They move it around then, and then they get it, Krejci then just starts putting it to the net. And at that point, as I always tell, like our kids that I'm coaching, create chaos. That's all you're trying to do right there at the extra man. But one guy's got to stay out of the pile. That's the other key there. And David did that by staying off to the side. The tendency is to come to the middle. Meanwhile, stay to the side, and that's where the puck ends up finding you.
Yeah, the puck finds great players, and he finds that hole, and it's just a pig pile in front. That's all it is. That's what every NA. It's not, and it's a controlled pig pile. They're trying to make the pig pile. Right. Every team's talking about it. It's not just happening. That's the NHL pig pile. Get it to the middle, wrist it on net, hit some legs. Maybe it goes in. Otherwise, when it's 6-on-5, you can have David off on the flank and still outnumber them in front of the net. It's still 2-on-2 in front of the net, and you have David off to the side, so you hope that it bounces the way it did last night to David. Goalies have no chance. You have to play the initial shot. If the puck doesn't hit you as a goaltender, it's so much harder to react to the rebound. The same thing instinctually, if it hits us as goaltenders, we know if it hits us here, whereabouts it's going to go, whereabouts it's going to end up. If it hits us over here, opposite side, it's going to be right around here. We can go get it right away. If it hits a player, we have to watch where it's going to go. We have to find it through all of those legs. And you see on that last goal, the puck bounces and David still has enough time to knock it in. Carter Hart only can shoot his leg out because he doesn't really know where the puck is. It's happening so fast because it doesn't hit him. So the pig pile worked. It was great positioning from David, players, kids. Mm-hmm. You don't need 4 guys in front of the net. You need 2, and then find space off to the side as other players.
And you had 6-on-5, so you have the extra guy out there, again, helping retrieve set. You had Richie, I thought it really another nice game. I got to give it to the guy, man. He's shown now that 10 games in, he can play. He can play.
He's fit in really well with Krejci.
He has.
They look like they're on the same page. Yeah. On the forecheck, he's in the right spot. He can. He was looking to be nasty last night.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys were taking liberties. He was going around. The one time he fell on Carter Hart, maybe he got knocked into him, but he fell on Carter Hart. He was being a bit of a bully last night as well on that second line, and that's something that. You don't always need that, but I think it just goes to how he's being effective with that second line. He's fun to watch with Krejci.
Well, yeah, you know what I would say for I think Krejci does need that all the time there. I think he needs that because that opens up some more space for him as well. I love Craig Smith. I'm thrilled, an astute signing, as of right now, love it. I think I like him better with the Coyle line when everybody's healthy, though. It's not that he's not good with Krejci. I just think that makes that Coyle line special. So, can Jake DeBrusk take that side up there? I don't know. He's going to come back. He's skating, which is the good news. Can Stanika? Because I do think that this team is at its best. Richie, I think he belongs there with Krejci. I do.
I do too. I know.
Straight line, that kind of stuff. I'm good at that. I'd like to see it's a different kind of right wing. Not that Smith isn't good. I think I just love Smith with Coyle when it's all said and done. And Frederick. To me, that ends up being a really good third line. And maybe you even put DeBrusk on the left and Smith on the right, and you hope that Stanika. I mean, obviously Kasha was the guy that you were hoping for, but there's nothing going on there right now.
No,
so I'm not trying to split hairs on this, but I'm just saying I think when it's all said and done, I think Coyle and Smith make a great pair. So, all right, couple of other things. Bergeron not doing well in the face-off circle for much of the game, except he starts winning them near the end. Another great lesson there. Don't give up. Don't get ticked off if you're a kid and you're not having a good night. Doesn't matter. Stick with it. And he starts winning. He finished under 50%. Which is not normal for him, considering he's 63, 64% leading the NHL. But he went from low to start winning regularly near the end of the game, help keep the team involved. I really liked the way the fourth line played. Corrali had the breakaway, didn't score, but I thought that they played well. Bleed, first game in, had a penalty, didn't love it, but
he had a great block in the first. As a goalie, I thought, he sacrificed on that one. I think it was kind of his fault. The puck was still in the zone. Right. So he bailed himself out with that one. But again, he as a fourth line guy, you can't let that shot. He drove out, took it in the back. It looked like it hurt. And guys, you get respect from that. Yeah. Guys appreciate that, throwing yourself out there like that.
Yeah, but it was his first game. And so I'm going to cut him a little slack. I thought it was okay to good. I get the decision to take Kuhlman out. I do. Carson's going to have to, again, love the kid. They want to see a little bit more. I think they felt for the lineup that they had that this made more sense to try Bleed.
Yeah, and you need to get all of these guys in at some point, I think, too. With a 56-game schedule, it's even harder to – there's never really a great time and a great spot. All division games all the time. You're not just out in L.A. where you can toss a kid in and get him some time. So all of these games, all of these spots are going to feel a little bit bigger for these guys in and out of the lineup, but you got to get them in because at some point you're going to need the organizational depth from all of these players, have different options. And the only time they really get to play right now is in the NHL.
Yeah. I forgot to even sorry, this is where I'm a lame host. We got to talk the overtime goal quickly. I knew they were going to score once they get that penalty. Yeah.
No, there's no doubt. There was no question.
Right. You're like, what are you doing, Lawton? I don't know Scott Lawton, but what are you doing taking that penalty right there? The Eddie O and the guys were talking about, there's no reason. I love the look on his face after the goal is scored, and then the camera pans to him coming out of the box. He's got that look. He might be an awesome guy. I'm not making fun of him, but he's got that look that we all have had coming out of the penalty box when you're saying to yourself, oh, crap, what did I do? But instead of showing that bewilderment, you're looking tough. That was a
mean look. Right. He had the mean look on. Oh, it was so funny.
That was an awful call. And you're like, what did I do that for? So
the director stinks for having to put him on there like that too, huh?
Right.
Lawton's mom and dad are at home watching. They had to put him on.
No, they went like this. They went click. They went
pops through his beer at the TV.
Yeah, the fake slapper, Pasta knew all along he was going to Bergeron. He never once thought he was shooting there. Never once. And so that, to me, I think your point earlier about opens up other things, the clapper and everything, that was just the perfect play. And then Bergeron just holds his ground. Now he has to get the rebound to put that one in.
Yeah, it's such a tough play for a goaltender because you see Hart wants to get – that rebound has to go right there. And I think we've talked about it here or at Nesson about – sending that puck the back pad, even if, it's just as good Patrice doesn't score on the tip. As long as he puts it directly in the pad, he knows that puck's coming right back to his stick. It's almost like a pass-off pad to himself. Great if it tips in, but he's not going to try and tip it up over the glass or trying to tip it bar and in. He's just trying to get it on net, play the rebound, especially 4-on-3. The defenseman in front can't engage him. Because the defenseman has to move around the ice, so he can't engage. So he knows he's going to be able to have an easy try on the rebound if it comes right to him. So heady play by Patrice just to get that first one on net. Hart has no chance to keep his pad extended, and it turns into an easy goal. But there was no doubt those guys were going to figure a way to score, with a minute 50 on the power play in overtime.
Yeah, I was, foregone conclusion to me. I'm like, this is done now when you get to overtime at 4-on-3, and you don't practice it that much. That's one thing though. You practice your 5-on-4, you practice your 5-on-3, but you don't practice your 4-on-3 as much. Now maybe you do more so nowadays in this NHL because coaches say, well, overtime. That's what happens. You add the man, you do it. But it was seamless. It was easy. As soon as Pastrnak went into the motion for the shot, you could see his eyes. You could see his stick. You could see him open up as he came through. You knew he wasn't looking to shoot right there, but still, you can't protect against that. Your Tuukka take on the game. He's also going to start Friday night. They don't want him sitting too long because we don't have a game Saturday and Monday, we being Nesson because of the COVID situation with Buffalo. I think it's a good decision for that. What did you think of his overall performance?
Tuukka was good. Did what he made some saves at 3-1. Van Riemsdyk, I believe, came down the left wing. Good save. So the same as the rest of the team, Tuukka knows they're never out of it. And you could easily let one more in, let one get away, but Tuukka stayed dug in. Not really much chance on any of the goals.
No, shot was good. It was a good shot.
Yeah. That was floating a little bit. For him to get the wood he did on that he hammered it just under the bar, and obviously the backdoor play, you can't play that any different. So Tuukka was good, got the win, happy with a 4-3 win as a goaltender. Good job.
Yeah.
That's what the guys are going to say.
Right. It was what
he did a great job playing the puck again.
Early on, he was really good.
He's really, really doing a good job with that. And to your point, like not being able to go down and talk, I'd really be interested to see if it's just a mindset or if he's actually working on it daily. But it's noticeably better now. Every single night I notice it even more and more.
Yeah, I do too. All right, well, you go teach the goaltenders of tomorrow how to move the puck like that. I'll go get this thing going on my end here, and actually I got to get on the ice as well. Great morning, Brew.
You got a big skate this morning.
We got a big skate.
Get those guys. You missed it this week.
I know.
So get those guys going.
All right, so we're back after Friday's game. We'll be back Saturday morning. Folks, I know my microphone sucks. You don't need to tell me that. We're working on it. Our boy RC is working on getting me a new one. We're up on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Get the hell out of here. Bruins win in overtime, 4-3. That's your morning brew. Go have a nice cup of coffee. Enjoy your day.